Let's quickly cut across to Dargah Ajmer Sharif, and these are pictures of Pakistan's Prime Minister Raja Pervez Ashraf at Dargah Ajmer Sharif.
अब बोलेंगे बताएं।
अरे आगे से हट जाइए इधर से।
There is a massive deployment of the police in that area as the Prime Minister arrives. There you see pictures of Pakistan's Prime Minister Raja Pervez Ashraf. He is the Prime Minister of Pakistan for the next 6 days. And as you see those pictures, let me get to headlines today. Maha Siddiqui, who joins us from the Dargah of Khwaja Gharib Nawaz. Maha, was he welcomed by the Chief Diwan or any other Diwan at the entrance?
No, there is only one Diwan who's the spiritual head of the Dargah, that is Zainul Abidin Ali Khan, and he has of course said that he's not going to receive him. He was not part of the preparation either today. He did not receive him. What we can see at the moment now is that the Khadim, that is Bilal Chisti, was along with the Prime Minister. Apart from the Prime Minister's wife Nusrat and his 2 children are also there as part of his family and his brother who are accompanying him here. And this whole group of people is now being escorted inside the Dargah. The Khadim will help him perform the ziyarat. Now there is a tradition really, Gaurav, that 42 meter long velvet chadar is offered at the Dargah, and that chadar arrived this afternoon. The Pakistan High Commission had handed it over to the people of the Dargah. This chadar will be offered by the Pakistan Prime Minister. He will be offering prayers, apart from the fact that any other person who wishes that something that he desires and that prayer should also be offered. People write small notes and chips, and that will also be part of what the Pakistan Prime Minister would be carrying along with him. He'll also be making an offering to the Dargah, and we'll get to know later what kind of offering has been made by him. There are a lot of people, and I'm not sure if the Pakistan Prime Minister would want to do that as well. There are a lot of people who tie a thread at the Dargah, asking for something, some wish that they want fulfilled. They usually tie a thread at the Dargah, and once it's fulfilled, they come and undo that knot. So we'll have to wait and see whether he does that. As of now, you can see in the visuals that the family with the entourage of the Pakistan Prime Minister has arrived at the Dargah. The Khadim Bilal Chisti is escorting them around, and the ziyarat has begun. There's a 40-minute time that they'll be spending inside the Dargah. In fact, less than that now, Gaurav. By around 4:40 is what we understand they'll be leaving the Dargah.
Okay, and he is there, his family is there. We are told that there was a massive delegation that came with him from Pakistan. 48 members apparently. Have all of them come here? 3 helicopter loads for ziyarat at Dargah Ajmer Sharif?
Well, at the moment, we can see only a handful of people, which included his wife, his children, his brother. There are, of course, other people in the entourage. There are also other people from the Pakistan High Commission who have been in Ajmer, and some of them who were in Jaipur and who were accompanying him to the Dargah. So it's all those people all together who have entered the Dargah. Gaurav, let me tell you that obviously there is nobody who would not want to come to the Ajmer Sharif Dargah. Now look at this. Despite the controversy, despite suffering the embarrassment of the Diwan not going to receive him and showing his resentment, expressing his displeasure, the Pakistan Prime Minister has still wanted to come to the Dargah. So the Dargah has a really esteemed place, not just in Sufism, but everybody across the country, across the subcontinent really wants to at some stage come and pay their obeisance there, from people from all walks of life, from all faiths. So yes, I'm pretty sure that nobody from the delegation, I mean, if 48 people, despite the controversy, wanted to come along with the Prime Minister to India, would definitely want to be here at the dargah itself over here.
Any interaction whatsoever with the Pakistani delegation?
Not at the moment, Gaurav. I think the Ministry of External Affairs has ensured that the media does not get to speak to the Pakistan Prime Minister, and that is why only a visual opportunity has been made available to us. So our cameramen have been allowed inside who are shooting the visuals. We as reporters have taken a vantage point from where we can see what is happening inside the dargah, but we are not inside the premises at the moment. We were all shunted out. Clearly, there is no interaction that is being encouraged at the moment. What we also understood is that the Pakistan Prime Minister, earlier on, we were given to believe that he might come and speak to the cameras. However, we understand right now that that might not happen as well. However, cameras are placed there. And if we go back to what happened in Jaipur, my sources are telling me that there were no substantive talks at all. I also have my sources, if India's displeasure, at least at the beheading of the Indian soldier, was something that was conveyed. My sources tell me that talks are not the only way of conveying displeasure or the sentiment which is very negative Pakistan at the moment to the other side. I understand from this perhaps they mean that the fact that the External Affairs Minister did not go to receive him at the airport, which is perhaps part of a protocol. The fact that nobody from the officials accompanied him to the dargah are also some of the subtle ways of conveying the sentiments of a country. Also the fact that the Diwan himself said, and very publicly, that he does not want to welcome the Prime Minister, in many ways have conveyed the message to Pakistan.
Oh, indeed, Maha Siddiqui, stay on with me. I'll keep coming back to you for more on this story. Ambassador Dogra, Maha was just describing to us how Ministry of External Affairs sources are telling her it's not just through words you can display and express your displeasure, it's also through action. So what speaks louder, the nuanced approach of Ministry of External Affairs diplomats, or perhaps the straight, attitude of the Chief Diwan of Dargah, Ajmer Sharif?
I think Maha put it in a very nuanced manner, that the Chief Diwan of the Ajmer Sharif, he has really spoken out the sentiments and feelings of India, and nothing more needs to be said beyond that.
Indeed, RSN saying when the Chief Diwan says what he did, that Pakistan Prime Minister should apologize, return the head, his hands are soaked with blood of innocent Indians, does that convey what the man on the street thinks about all the diplomatic niceties our External Affairs Minister may be trying to convey otherwise to Pakistan, or the government may be telling Pakistan one thing, the man on the street clearly feels something else?
He has resonated the voice of millions of this country, there is no doubt about it. But I could expect him to go a little, further on this issue. Should have really put his foot down. I mean, in many more ways. But look at the the contrast. It could not be more telling. Look at the irony. On one hand, you have just given a piece of news that there has been an IB alert in Gujarat.
Yes. And
contrasted this with this visit.
Yes.
So I mean, it's ironical. I mean, what have you achieved on the ground?
Exactly, and let me put that question to our political editor Javed Ansari. Javed, whatever we may have tried as a nation to convey to Pakistan, Indian Mujahideen head honchos Riaz Bhatkal, Iqbal Bhatkal continue to enjoy political patronage in Pakistan, whether it's Dawood Ibrahim, whether it's Hafiz Mohammed Saeed. All the terror kingpins live in Pakistan. They may, Prime Minister may come to India for ziyarat, he may come to India and for official talks. Terror still continues, Javed.
Well, without doubt it continues, and it has been continuing even at the time when General Musharraf was invited after Kargil. It continued when Mr. Vajpayee went to Lahore and and then subsequently to Islamabad. So that has been India's stated policy, to engage Certainly terror continues, and certainly India must continue to make its point and make it clear to Pakistan in no uncertain terms, but that this will not be tolerated. Senior functionaries of the UPA are saying that hosting a lunch does not take away from that position. That position was reiterated, underlined, underscored by none less than the Prime Minister of India on the floor of Parliament. Hosting a lunch takes nothing away from the fact that India will not stomach, and it cannot be business as usual.
Okay, is that the message that's actually being conveyed, Ambassador Dogra? It is not business as usual with Pakistan?
Well, I think we are missing the point altogether. Lunch is not the issue. Certainly host the lunch. Certainly there's a governor, very senior governor of India, who's present in Jaipur. She could have hosted the lunch. But if we are talking of nuances, then
Yes.
we are sending a very, very strange nuance to the Pakistani delegation and the Pakistani government by sending our external affairs minister all the way against all conventions, all traditions and all protocol for a private visit.
Yes.
And if he did not even convey the anguish of people of India, then I think we have missed a huge opportunity. And we've gone against the wishes of the Prime Minister, who told the Rajya Sabha yesterday that if terror continues, it will not be business as usual. It is more business as usual in the way External Affairs Minister has gone to Jaipur. So that's a very bizarre precedent to set. And then to come up with excuses like, it is just a lunch. Lunch can be given and should be given, must be given to a dignitary from Pakistan, but it should be given in a gracious manner by the dignitaries who are present in Rajasthan, as is the tradition and as is the requirement of protocol.
So it was a wrong step for External Affairs Minister Colonel Singh to be there on ground zero in Jaipur and host the Pakistani Prime Minister.
Absolutely. If it was a private visit, I mean, if I recall, sometime back Katrina Kaif also visited Dargah and she was all covered up. That is also a kind of private visit. Okay. Let me tell you, when you are a president or prime minister of the country,
Yes.
you are not a private person.
Yes.
And let's not be in self-denial that there is nothing called cricket diplomacy, there is nothing called dargah diplomacy, there is nothing called shuttle diplomacy. So but I only pray that now when the Prime Minister, he's offering his prayers in that house of God, I think he must pray for good sense in Pakistan to prevail, and we hope we don't get any more terror alerts. Then Manmohan Singh and his party would have achieved a lot.
No, but Javed Ansari made a very valid point, Ambassador Dogra. Whether it was the Vajpayee regime or it is Dr. Manmohan Singh's regime, we seem to be bending over backwards to engage Pakistan. Lahore was a good step, but then Kargil happened, yet we engaged Pakistan at Agra. Our parliament was attacked, yet we engaged Pakistan. Why are we going so wrong on our Pakistan policy? Do we have a Pakistan policy? You were in Ministry of External Affairs, Ambassador Dogra. Do we have a Pakistan policy?
Well, I think more than that, I think we should look at what has been happening in recent weeks. Whether it is vis-a-vis Maldives or during President's visit to Bangladesh.
But let's stick to the issue of Pakistan first. Do we have a Pakistan policy in India?
I'll tell you.
Okay, let me get the ambassador's response, then I'll come to you.
Well, I think we definitely have good diplomats in the Ministry of External Affairs, experienced diplomats. They do have a Pakistan policy, but it's not the diplomats who make policy. Unfortunately, policy is made according to emotions, according to different perceptions at a different level. And that is the misfortune.
But is that how policy, and especially with an adversary like Pakistan, Colonel Arjun Singh, needs to be handled? I mean, here is an enemy that has been bleeding you since 1947. They've been bleeding you. You fought 3 wars with them. They've been bleeding you through terror attacks constantly, and yet you bend over backwards and engage them.
I would like your indulgence for 1 minute. Please don't interrupt me for 1 minute. See, when Mr. Vajpayee went to USA, I remember the speech he gave. And he warned them that terror's sweep is 360 degrees and the comfort of distance should not, you should not cause complacency. He warned the Americans. Then Operation Enduring Freedom started. Now take your mind back. During that time, whole of India, war, global war against terror, our partnership, with the Americans against global war against terror. Pakistan is a failed state. Its moment of nemesis has arrived. And the whole world, and I know in India people were talking that this hyphenated equation, Indo-Pakistan equation, is forever. We are at the much higher level and Pakistan is at much lower level. Few years down the line, we have hit a new low. We have hit a new low as far as that hyphenated equation is concerned. And this new low, the architect of this new low is none other than Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, where he brought the perpetrator of terror and the sufferer of terror on the same platform. And now he is being very clever by giving statements and trade and talk and terror cannot take place and passing the entire focus onto his foreign minister. We know these games. We understand these games.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I'm sounding.
Let me get a reaction from Javed Ansari on that. But before that, let's quickly listen in to what External Affairs Minister Salman Khurshid said after meeting the Pakistani Prime Minister. Let's listen in.
देश भर से हमारे देश के हर कोने से लोग आते हैं। मैं समझता हूं उसी धारणा से और श्रद्धा से वो भी यहाँ उपस्थित हुए हैं और इसी परिप्रेक्ष्य में जो हमने यहाँ पर उनके प्रबंध किए थे वो आप लोगों को आप उनसे अवगत हैं और वो उसी यात्रा पर अब जा चुके हैं।
Javed, should this opportunity have been used to convey to Pakistan and perhaps in as many words that this country is hurt by the beheading of a soldier, by the terror attacks in Hyderabad, twin attacks in Hyderabad, and now this terror alert in Gujarat that Yasin Bhatkal is trying to target Ahmedabad once again, and Indian Mujahideen head honchos Riaz Bhatkal and Iqbal Bhatkal enjoy political patronage in Pakistan?
Look, as far as the government is concerned, they took a calibrated, a nuanced approach. They say that nothing could have been said more after what the Prime Minister of India said. Nothing could have been said louder than what the Diwan of Ajmer Sharif said. Nothing could have been said in a better way than what, than the protests that were taking place while the Pakistani Prime Minister was driving to Rambagh Palace. They said this has been reiterated time and again, underscored by the Prime Minister. And just offering a meal to a visiting guest takes nothing away from that. That this is their view, Gaurav. They believe that they've said it in no uncertain terms, and the very fact that they did not accord him the kind of reception that normally a visiting Prime Minister gets. He was only given the courtesy that a lunch was hosted in his honor. Besides that, they did nothing for him. They said this is a message which will have not been lost on Pakistan. Live
pictures coming in from Dargah Ajmer Sharif, that is Pakistan's Prime Minister Raja Pervez Ashraf. He's had his darshan he's been to the Khwaja Moinuddin Nawaz's there. We're looking at these pictures there, flanked by his wife, flanked by other friends and relatives. The Khadim there explaining the entire procedure that took place at the Dargah Moinuddin Nawaz, the Dargah of Khwaja Moinuddin Chisti. And after that brief photo op, he will now be on his way back to Pakistan. There is no media interaction. He is to fly out at 5 PM at 1700 hours Indian Standard Time. Was this, Ambassador, an opportunity lost? India could have once again conveyed to Pakistan our concerns on the core issue of terror, especially given that latest terror alert in Gujarat from Pakistan-sponsored terror group, Pakistan-based terror groups.
I agree with you 100% that I think we have lost an opportunity, at least in public eye, and that is important in today's diplomacy. The larger issue that I want to stress on is the fact that action speaks louder than 1,000 words in terms of policy, in terms of policies in today's global governance. Look at UK, look at USA. They have not suffered an attack since their major attacks many years back. And look at the newspaper reports of today. After Osama bin Laden, USA has now lifted his son-in-law.
Yes.
That sends out a message which is loud and clear. Not lunches and not flying 300 kilometers.
Yes. So perhaps that is the hardline that India needed to take. I need to slip into a quick break here. We'll track developments on the story very closely. Pakistan's Prime Minister, he's been to the dargah Ajmer Sharif. Now he's on his way back to Pakistan. Will he go back with a message of peace, or will Pakistan continue to spread terror in India, not just in Jammu and Kashmir but across the country? We'll wait, we'll watch, but the country needs to be prepared to face Pakistan-sponsored terror.